Alright guys, so we just got some brand new Roblox jailbreak update news here, and well, apparently the Flintlock is going to be getting removed. Alongside that, we might also be getting a new combat update or something here because, you know, Asimo's not really too happy with how guns are right now. But yeah, real quick here, I do want to mention that I will be giving out a free Celsius here in Jailbreak at 55k subs. And so if you want to go ahead and enter that giveaway, then all you have to do is be subscribed with your post notifications on, so that way you're notified of when it's happening, and so that way you're actually able to enter, because only subscribers can do that. But anyways, let's go ahead and get into all of this new jailbreak news here. So first of all, we do actually have some things on crews. So yeah, to those like 3 people that actually use crew battles, Asimo says over here to someone asking when blue fire will be fixed, he says that if anything, crews will be deleted. Blue fire is no longer promised, you know, obviously referring to the blue fire drift, and it is sunsetted. So if you get it, congrats. So yeah, crews are now officially on their way out. So, you know, maybe in the next update, they'll be gone. I don't really think anybody, you know, genuinely cares about this. I don't even know why I still have this crew, but yeah, moving on to the next thing here. Over here on Twitter a few hours ago, Asimo said that I want to fix weapon spam. 1 second oofs aren't fun. And then he listed a bunch of ideas about fixing the issue, and of which here at the bottom he says removing the Flintlock. And here in the comments, people have been pretty negative towards that. You know, I don't think they'll actually be doing it, but there will be a pretty big nerf. First of all, they might be decreasing the range limit or something, so you know, you won't be able to shoot as far, and they might also be nerfing the damage as well, which is interesting. I don't really think that nerfing the damage is that good of an idea because, well, if they do that, then it's pretty much the same as every other gun but worse. So, you know, that would just make the gun completely useless, which is not good. Maybe if they really want to nerf the Flintlock, they could instead make it so it does more damage the closer you are. Like, you know, it starts out at 50 and it goes lower and lower the further you are. Maybe that could work, but another idea that someone had here was weapon categories, and basically how this works is you could only carry 1 weapon from each of these categories. Now, while I kind of think that this would fix the issue that we have now with weapon spam, I also do think it would introduce a new issue, which is just making the weapon system extremely annoying. Because obviously, after you play a game like Jailbreak for 9 years, you know, using whatever weapons you want, all of a sudden being able to use only 4 weapons, it's kind of weird, you know? It's not really how you want to play the game. It's almost like the robbery system, you know? The reason that pretty much everybody here hates the robbery system is because you can't do the robberies that you want to do. So adding a system like that to the gun system would make it just as annoying, if not more annoying, because you can't play the game how you want to play it and use the guns that you want to use. But yeah, whatever they end up doing here, I'm really hoping that they don't restrict which weapons we can use, because I don't know about you guys, but I like being able to choose how to play the game. A few other ideas that Asimo did list here though is, you know, only allowing 1 revolver per hotbar. That, of course, is because currently there is actually 2 revolvers in the game. You got the Nerf revolver and the normal revolver, so, you know, you would only be able to use 1. That, I think, is a good change, but another thing Asimo lists here is an equip delay if you switch from another weapon. This, I'm pretty sure, is already in the game. Like, if you shoot a rifle and then you shoot a pistol, there is actually a delay already, so I'm not really too sure what he's talking about there. Maybe he's saying that the cooldown needs to be bigger, but, you know, I don't know about that one because that cooldown already seems good enough. This here is what the cooldown would be if it was 2 seconds, which, you know, it isn't bad, really. It's just more clunky. So yeah, I'm not really too sure about that one, but the next thing Asimo has here on the list is limiting the amount of weapons you have in a hotbar. This, I think, could be pretty good if they do it well. You know, obviously, like I said earlier, the weapon category system definitely should not get added, but, you know, maybe just a cap of like 10 weapons could be good. I don't even think that most people even use more than 10 weapons, so honestly, if they do end up adding that, it wouldn't be that bad. Obviously, I still think we'd be much better off just not having any of these restrictions at all, but, you know, even if they do end up adding this, it's not really that bad because, you know, this is 10 slots and I still have pretty much every weapon in the game. So yeah, overall, out of all of these options, I honestly just think that nerfing the Flintlock would be the best option. Like I said earlier in the video, I really think that they should just make the Flintlock damage, distance based, so that way it does more damage the closer you are and less damage the further you are, because that way they could actually balance out the weapon and they could still keep it unique, so that way people actually have a reason to use it. Make sure to go ahead and put all your thoughts on this down below in the comments though, because these could be some pretty big changes. But yeah, other than that, that's pretty much it for Jailbreak right now, and yeah, I'll see you on the next one.